So you're an ADHDer with a great idea for a new writing project. That is fantastic. But if you don't want this project to end up in the same graveyard that holds all your other unfinished projects, then I suggest that you create these 4 documents to set yourself up for success. I'm Susanna, I'm an ADHD writing coach, and I have helped hundreds of ADHD writers pursue and achieve their writing goals. And on this YouTube channel, I want to help you do the exact same thing. So without further ado, here are the 4 documents that I suggest you create every time you start a new big writing project. So the first document I suggest you create is your outline document. Oh, wait, don't run yet. I know that you're an ADHDer, and an ADHD brain does not want an outline. What you want to do is you want to write by the seat of your pants. Because you're a pantser, right? You're the kind of person who sits down, starts writing, and then continues until the project is done. And what you know is that as you are writing, the project develops, the project changes. And that is natural. That is the way that you want to work. So as soon as I said the word outline, there's a pretty good chance that you got upset and wanted to abandon me altogether. I'm very glad that you didn't. Now, what I have realized about pantsers with ADHD is that in the beginning, this works very, very well. You start writing, you're all excited, you keep generating new ideas, but when you get to the messy middle and you have to start bringing all these threads together that your amazing brain came up with, that is when you get stuck. You don't know where you're going, you don't know where you're going to end up, and therefore it becomes harder and harder to actually keep making progress. And this is usually the moment that ADHD writers abandon their projects. Now, if you do have an outline, this messy middle gets a lot less messy because you know where you're going. You know how you're going to pull all these threads together. The one thing that you need to keep in mind, though, is that an outline is not set in stone. I think it is great that your project changes as you write. And I think that as your project changes, the outline needs to change too. Your outline is a working document. And as long as it is a working document, I think you'll be able to convince your ADHD brain that maybe an outline isn't such a bad idea after all. So an outline document is going to help you actually complete the project because it will make sure that you do not get stuck right there in the messy middle. So what you do is you figure out what the main thing is that you want to communicate with your text. Then you think about the steps that you need to take your reader through to get them to that point. If you write a book, you can make an outline based on chapters, what happens in each chapter to help you get to that end point. If you want to write a TV show or a movie, you start with acts and then break that down into scenes. If you write an article, you're going to have separate sections, an introduction, usually 3 subsections, and a conclusion. Creating this document and following it, and continuously updating it, will help you move forward and actually complete your project, especially if you combine it with the next document I want you to create. And so the second document I want you to create is a timeline document. Now that we know what pieces your text is composed of, what I want you to do is I want you to create a timeline with the dates on which you intend to finish each one of these pieces. Now, again, like any plan, this one can change. If you fall behind on schedule, you don't have to abandon everything. All you need to do is update your timeline document. But what the real benefit is of this timeline document is that it will help you create a sense of momentum, a sense of progress. Instead of thinking, I haven't gotten anywhere yet because I haven't finished my entire project yet, you can now see whether you are on schedule or behind on schedule. You can see the pieces that you have already completed and how far along you are in your project. And that will really help you with momentum. It will help you with motivation. It will really help you become a more productive and prolific ADHD writer. Now, once you've made this timeline, make sure to also put these goal dates in your planner of choice. And if you really want to make this plan ADHD proof, make sure to check out this video, which will tell you about my magical tool called the Life Happens Buffer. The first 2 documents I told you to create may not have been so unusual, but this third one definitely is. Once you have your outline and your timeline, I suggest you also create a change log. So just create a document that you open every time you start writing. Write down the date, and then when you finish, write down what it is that you did. This change log might not help you presently, but your future self is definitely going to thank you for it. There are 3 main benefits to having a change log. Even on a good day, our brains are kind of faulty. And we also struggle with consistency. And that means there's a pretty good chance that one day you're going to think that you're going to show up for your writing project again tomorrow, but that never happens. And it doesn't happen for days, weeks, or even months. Now, if you come back to your writing project after 3 weeks or even 2 months, you will not remember where it is that you left off and what the next thing to do is going to be. But if you have your change log, then you know exactly what it is you did the last time you worked on this writing project. And that is going to make it so much easier to actually get back into your project, because you don't have to reread everything you wrote to find the place that you left off. The second benefit is that you have a log that will tell you about big major changes. Now, if you change your mind and you cut a big piece out of your text now, but then in a couple of months you change your mind again and you want to find it again, you know that there are some beautiful sentences in there that you want to put back into the manuscript, your change log will help you find the most recent version of the document. Your change log will help you find the day where you made that big change. So you can go back and find the paragraphs that you cut out. And finally, your change log will be proof that you are making progress. When you feel like you are not doing anything and not accomplishing anything, your change log is there to remind you of all the things that you have been doing, all the words that you have written, all the paragraphs that you have edited, all the brilliant ideas that you have come up with during previous writing sessions. So when you feel like you're not amounting to anything, you can always go back through your change log and have an automatic list of all the things that you have achieved so far. And I think those 3 combined actually make a very, very strong case that every ADHD writer needs a change log for every project that they are working on. The 4th document I want you to create is a research questions document. Now, I know how it usually goes when you're an ADHD writer. You are writing along happily until you come across a quick question you have, a date that you need to check, and a piece of information that you need before you can keep going. Maybe you want a street name, or you want to figure out what exactly this author said that you're building your argument on right now. Now, when that happens, what you probably do is you go onto the internet and you try to find the answer to that question. And that derails you because you keep going down rabbit holes. One question leads to the next and the next. And before you know it, you have spent your entire writing session only researching. Now, what I suggest you do is you do not immediately go down that rabbit hole. Because at the end of the day, it's only going to make you feel bad for not having written enough new words. So what I suggest you do is you put a placeholder in your text that says something like, this date needs to come here. And then you put the thing that you need to research in your research document. You're going to have a list of research questions that you can go into later. Now, of course, you need to plan time for it. It is important that at some point during the writing process, you will tell yourself, today is research day, and I will just go down the list of research questions. But the beauty of this research document is that it will no longer make sure that you go down a rabbit hole every single time you write. Because what you'll be saying is, this is my writing time, and I will not be doing any research during it. And there's going to be a research time after that I can use to fill in these blanks, these placeholders that I've created in my document. Now, what I would like you to do is to also set time aside to go into a research document and start doing the research. You can do this once a week or once a month, depending on how many research questions you end up with. But what this is going to result in is a lot higher productivity and a lot more confidence in your ability to actually complete this text. Now, with these 4 documents, you have set yourself up for writing success in this new project that you have envisioned. No more abandoning projects halfway through, having them end up in your project graveyard you can actually start finishing your projects now with these 4 documents that I've told you to create. But that doesn't mean that all your ADHD writing problems are completely behind you. So make sure to check out one of these videos next to set yourself up for writing success in the long run. Talk to you soon.